Everyone present probably wanted to know the answer to this question. However, they also knew that even if they do ask, the short and fat man would not provide an answer. The black market could be said to be the least restrictive, but it was also most particular about rules. Where is the background of the pudgy? Who are the authorized dealers? No one would insist on getting to the bottom of the matter. At most, they would probe him. When the probing ends, those bargaining continue, and those who choose to leave, leave. 200,000 great $2 for a silencing device was clearly a deliberate bid to attract attention. Now that there were many people in front of the stall, the short and fat man naturally lowered his price. Even so, one still costs about 80,000 great $2 each. According to the pudgy man, this price was nearing the cost price. A silencing device could be used 10 times. It was worth it. Whether it was a loss depended on the individual. Jingxing had no need for it. Besides, he did not have enough great $2 on him. Thus, he stopped in front of the stall for a while before turning around and leaving the black market. Back at his courtyard, Jingxing started to gather his internal force to stimulate his dantian to break through to the 7th grade. He would try again and again until he was familiar with the process and had figured out the approach. Then, he would take the wall-breaking pill. During this process, when it was his turn to be on duty, he would continue to work and move the corpses in peace. After work, he would return to his small courtyard and continue to stimulate his dantian. In Qinghe City, due to the appearance of the barbarians, the officials had started a thorough investigation. Not only did the Martial Suppression Office and the security team appear everywhere, the soldiers of the Chanyang Prefecture also entered the city and raided certain places from time to time. As for the gains of this operation, Jingxing was unaware. Whether the plan was to relax measures on the outside and keep tight guard on the inside, or vice versa, he did not care. In any case, he only knew that under the joint efforts of the Martial Suppression Office, the security team, and the prefecture army, the number of people who had died in the city had decreased at once. There was no more fighting, murder, assassination, or accidental death. Only those who died of illness continued to be sent to the crematorium. With fewer corpses, the work of Jingxing, Kong de Bao, and the others became easier. During work, most of the time was spent playing cards and games. Consequently, Jingxing extracted fewer cards. Jingxing wasn't in a hurry. His current goal was to reach the 7th grade. Before that was achieved, everything else was put aside. After more than 10 days of repeated attempts, Jingxing finally figured out the approach and decided to take the wall-breaking pill. He chose to make his breakthrough in the later half of the night. Past midnight, the world entered a phase of silence. Jingxing took out the wall-breaking pill and placed it aside. Then, he gathered the internal force in his dantian with familiar ease. At a certain moment, when he felt the change in his internal force, he quickly picked up and swallowed the wall-breaking pill. As soon as the special pure energy entered his abdomen, it turned into a warm current and mixed with the internal force. After merging with each other, the cyclone formed wrapped around his dantian, beginning the cleansing and opening. Again and again, again and again. Until... Suddenly, there seemed to be a hole in his lower abdomen. A wisp of vital energy emerged from the hole and fused with the cyclone. It first flowed on the outside, then the inside. In addition to the surface of his dantian, it flowed past even his internal organs, limbs, bones, and even his brain. Under the cleansing of this power, the dark impurities and toxins in his body reached the surface through his skin. In the end, that strand of vital energy returned to his dantian and fell into silence. The ball of energy condensed from internal force was restored to its original state and filled his entire body. Of course, compared to before, there was 1/10 of the original amount of internal force left. Although it had lessened, Jingxing successfully made it into the 7th grade. This breakthrough was perfect. Su Jingxing was very satisfied that he managed to enter the 7th grade at one go when he did not have anyone to guide him. The stains on his skin were, in some ways, equivalent to an abortion. It was said that once a martial artist reaches the 3rd grade, they would undergo a complete transformation. As a result, the stronger a martial artist, the higher their realm, the more good-looking they were. Correspondingly, their aging speed also slowed down. Su Jingxing had never seen a martial artist above the 3rd grade, so he could not verify this point. At his age, there was no need for him to consider anything else either. Su Jingxing headed to the bathroom to take a shower and change into clean clothes. After which, he took out the true energy card and prepared to unlock it and store it in his dantian. Since his dantian had been successfully opened, he naturally had to circulate his true energy. However, it suddenly stopped a second before it unlocked. No. Su Jingxing's heart skipped a beat and he put down the true energy card as if he had been electrocuted. Something is wrong. There's something wrong here. It was not a problem with his dantian or the true energy card. It was his problem. Moving from 7th to 6th grade was one of the 3 big thresholds of martial arts. Su Jingxing was now able to advance directly to 6th grade with a true energy card. Something is amiss. There is a 99% chance that something is wrong here. Things are definitely not that simple. There were clear procedures to an average Joe becoming a martial artist, and becoming stronger step by step. First, one had to use his special internal exercise to condense his energy, qi, and blood into internal energy. Only with internal force would one be considered a quasi-martial artist. When internal force nourishes the body and boosts one's strength to 1,000 caddies, he would be a 9th grade martial artist. To put it bluntly, the origin of internal force was the essence of the human body. One needs to eat sumptuous meals and tonics to have ample energy. As such, it was difficult for the poor to become martial artists. This step was successfully substituted using the essence energy pills, strength pills and internal force cards. Hence, Su Jingxing did not encounter any problems along the way. However, things were different after reaching 6th grade. Su Jingxing had checked on the internet and found that there were 3 conditions to enter the 6th grade. Firstly, just like internal force, one has to possess a special internal exercise that allows him to cultivate his true energy. Secondly, one needs to find a place full of worldly energy and use it as the source of the first wisp of true energy. That's right, the source of true energy wasn't the essence of the human body, but an invisible energy that filled the world. This energy was also one of the differences between Earth Star and Earth. It was the foundation for all martial artists to become stronger. If there was no such energy, the highest realm of martial artists would be 7th grade. During the process of entering the 6th grade, the most crucial step was to absorb worldly energy. This step was dangerous. Therefore, one needs a Tao protector. Or, if his willpower was strong enough and his talent was outstanding, he could complete it by himself. All 3 conditions must be met. Su Jingxing did not check any of them and advanced with just 1 true energy card. Impossible. Although Su Jingxing didn't know what the problem was, he had an intuitive feeling. If I were to unlock the true energy card just like that, it would only be a waste. 3 years of true energy cultivation well is a trump card if employed well. It is a pity to waste it. At this thought, Su Jingxing took a deep breath and put away the true energy card. Before this, he had relied on himself to reach the 7th grade. He had to think carefully about how to proceed from here. Reason being, the wrong path would put him on a detour. In serious cases, one might even suffer from qi deviation. This was the disadvantage of not having a master or an elder. If no one gives you any pointers, you won't even know that you've taken a detour. Shall I find an expert to be my master? Given that Su Jingxing was 15 years old and in the 7th grade, finding a master was not difficult. The question is it worth it? Becoming a disciple was not stepping into a dojo and spending money to learn martial arts, you can leave whenever you want. No one will bother you. Becoming a disciple was different. It was finding a backer, but also putting an inhibition on oneself. Su Jingxing was now free and unrestrained. He could become stronger just by moving corpses every day. Even if he does not enter the 6th grade, with the true energy cards, he could still rival a 6th grade, 5th grade and 4th grade. As long as there were enough true energy cards, Su Jingxing would even dare to touch Li Linzhou. Thus, he eliminated the possibility of finding an expert to be his master. Similarly, there was no need for him to join a major faction. Since I do not understand the problem, I will put it aside for now. Anyway, I can still use the true energy card. He took a deep breath to calm his mind. Su Jingxing got up and looked at the sky outside the window. It was already dawn. He had a break this morning and didn't have to report to work. Since he had no clue about entering the 6th grade, he would change his target. Fulfill Wei Jiejia's remaining requests. The extermination of the Dagger Gang could not be proved to be due to the Black Tiger Gang. However, Wei Jiejia's goal was achieved. Those who were spying on the Wei family's business all retreated back to their lairs, not daring to reach out again. Therefore, the Wei siblings had returned home a few days earlier. Su Jingxing need not head to the Martial Suppression Office to look for her. With this in mind, Su Jingxing changed his clothes, put on his mask, and went out for breakfast. After which, he strolled slowly towards the Wei family's dojo. Wei family's dojo. At the empty training ground, Wei Jiejia sat on a stool and stared blankly at the ceiling. The Wei family had barely tided over the crisis this time, but the development of the dojo became another problem. Eldest senior brother was a fake. Without an expert, no one would come to learn martial arts. Who could the 9th grade Wei Jiejia recruit? She couldn't possibly teach the 7 steps fist for free, could she? Sigh. Wei Jiejia's head hurt from all the thinking, but was still without a solution. She sighed helplessly. Just then. You still have 2 more requests. Su Jingxing's voice suddenly sounded. Have you decided what they will be? Wei Jiejia was startled. When she regained her senses, she turned to look at Su Jingxing who had come in through the back door. Without thinking, she blurted out, I want you to join the Wei family's dojo. No, Su Jingxing replied instantly. Wei Jiejia was at a loss for words. Then, be an instructor of the dojo? Wei Jiejia asked aggrievedly. An instructor who teaches twice. Will it be enough to teach the students the 7 steps fist twice? Su Jingxing asked in retort. Haha. Wei Jiejia resisted the urge to complain and laughed dryly. Of course not. Since you're an instructor, we'll naturally count it according to normal circumstances. I can give you a high. No need. Before Wei Jiejia could finish, Su Jingxing interrupted coldly, next. Puff. Wei Jiejia exhaled and took a deep breath. After a while, she forced a smile and said, how about letting Jia Ping acknowledge you as his master? Jia Ping's is more talented in martial arts than me, but his body is a little weak. This can be solved by eating nourishing food. When his body is stronger. No, Su Jingxing cut her off coldly before she could finish. Take in a disciple. I don't even know what is wrong with my own path, and I'll take in a disciple. She is thinking too much. Wei Jiejia was also furious. If she didn't know that Su Jingxing was very powerful, she would have cursed him already. Even so, she still felt suffocated. Alright, find me a spiritual pet then. Wei Jiejia said through gritted teeth. Su Jingxing didn't answer. Instead, he surveyed Wei Jiejia strangely. What's wrong? Wei Jiejia's expression changed, and she said unyieldingly, you said it yourself. I'm free to state the conditions, and it's up to you whether you agree or not. Of course. That's what I said. That's what the deal is all about. Su Jingxing stated calmly, but you don't look that pretty. What do you mean? Wei Jiejia was confused. What does this have to do with my beauty? No, I don't look bad either. Even if I'm not a beauty who is known throughout the entire school and the entire city, I am still a little beauty who is famous in the nearby streets. Others, even Chen Xiaodao when he was alive, would covet my good looks. Only Su Jingxing, only he's been indifferent to me all this time. Like a blind man. Wei Jiejia gritted her teeth and complained inwardly. It's simple. Su Jingxing ignored Wei Jiejia's resentful gaze and said calmly, you're not pretty, but you have wishful, thinking one. Wei Jiejia almost jumped up in anger. Even though she managed to hold it in, her body trembled. After a moment, she was about to speak when. Hurry up, next one, Su Jingxing rushed coldly. I don't have that much time to waste here. Let's finish discussing earlier and I can settle this earlier. Sure. Wei Jiejia gritted her teeth and said hatefully, then I want a meeting appointment letter with the ethereal sword immortal, or a fresh stalk of Mayan flower. How about it, you? All right. Su Jingxing interrupted her and declared solemnly, I'll get you a meeting appointment letter with the ethereal sword immortal and a fresh Mayan flower for the 2 remaining requests. With that, Su Jingxing turned around and employed the 8-step rising dragon. In a few flashes, he disappeared through the back door of the dojo. Wei Jiejia was left dumbfounded. After a while, she snapped back to her senses and muttered to herself in bewilderment. Really? She felt uneasy and doubtful. Uneasy because both requests were for herself, not for the dojo. And doubtful that Su Jingxing could accomplish them. For example, a meeting appointment letter with the ethereal sword immortal. It was a gift that countless people in the U Nation wanted. Personal guidance from a 3rd-grade powerhouse. The ethereal sword immortal was a legendary figure among the female martial artists of U Nation. She was the idol of all women. Not only was she extremely gorgeous, she was also very interested in guiding and supporting the younger generation. The meeting appointment letter that was randomly distributed every half a year was her gift for the younger generation. No matter who, as long as they were from the U Nation, anyone who was lucky enough to be chosen would receive personal guidance from the ethereal sword immortal for 1 to 3 days. Over the past 10 years, 90% of those who had received pointers from her had made qualitative leaps. From there, the practice of meeting appointment letters that lasted for more than 10 years became the massive reward that everyone wanted. Especially the people and martial artists at the bottom rung, they were especially envious. Unfortunately, the probability of obtaining this reward was way too low. This was because the person drawing the lots was the ethereal sword immortal herself. There was no pattern. It was completely a random selection. Once every 6 months. One at a time. The person who was chosen each time was truly lucky. So how would Su Jingxing get it for Wei Jiejia? How? Of course it was with his hacking skills. The last time Su Jingxing unlocked the skill card and obtained this ability, he realized that Earth stars did not have the most advanced network security. Of course, it was not terrible either. The real good stuff, such as rare items and secret information, were hidden in dark rooms and secret rooms on Earth star. They would never appear on the internet. Mobile payments are also not widespread, mainly used by banks. The reason for this was not because people on Earth star were incapable and could not make such achievements. Instead, everyone's goal was related to martial arts. Regardless of gender or age, everyone's greatest dream was to become a martial artist. After becoming a martial artist, they then focused on becoming stronger. A 9th-grade martial artist hoped to enter the 8th grade. An 8th-grade martial artist hoped to enter the 7th grade. A 7th-grade martial artist hoped to enter 6th grade. A 6th-grade martial artist hoped to enter the 5th grade. A 5th-grade martial artist hoped to enter the 4th grade. A 4th-grade martial artist hoped to enter the 3rd grade. In short, this was an era where everyone revered martial arts. Technology was just auxiliary. The treatment of scientific researchers could not compare to that of martial artists. Earthstar's martial artists were not the celebrities of planet Earth. The latter could only entertain people, while the former was the foundation, pillar, and backer of a country. A country without a first-grade martial artist would not be able to protect itself and would be quickly annexed. Some time ago, Su Jingxing went online and saw a video. It was a trending video about the combat ability and destructive power of a first-grade martial artist. Good lord, that was not a human but a human-shaped missile. Wherever he went, the place would be reduced to ruins. Even a city with a population of more than 10 million like Qinghe City would not be able to escape the fate of being reduced to rubble if it was struck. Just this alone had not taken into consideration where a martial artist would be of greatest value, decapitation strike, 1. Therefore, on Earthstar only those extremely untalented for martial arts or those who were obsessed with the internet and technology would give up on martial arts and turn to other industries. In such an environment, Su Jingxing's hacking skills might not be the best online, but he was still one of those at the very top. Hacking into the lottery center, social forums, company systems, and more was quite easy. The only problem was that there was no pattern to the ethereal sword immortal's draw. Before she made her choice, no one knew which social forum it would be. This required Su Jingxing to hack into all the major forums. There were 3 major forums in Unation, as well as the local forums of each prefecture. These forums had to be put into the relevant small software in case they were selected. Then, Su Jingxing added his own and Wei Jiejia's information into these forums. Finally, he set up a reminder and waited for the arrival of the ethereal sword immortal. No matter which forum this third-grade big shot chose, between Su Jingxing and Wei Jiejia, the probability of one being selected would reach 99.9%. That's right. Wei Jiejia's request reminded Su Jingxing of himself. He happened to be in need of guidance from a senior expert. If he could obtain the guidance of the ethereal sword immortal, he would undoubtedly be able to avoid many detours. Su Jingxing was definitely not the first to think of this shortcut. But why didn't anyone follow up with it? In Su Jingxing's opinion, it was either they had the intention but didn't have the ability. Or, they had the ability but did not have the thought. Or perhaps he should be more straightforward. They clearly possessed powerful hacking abilities but did not know how to use them. There were many such examples. No one knew how capable they were until they were forced to the last step. If Su Jingxing had not come from Earth and experienced the explosive growth of the internet, he would not have thought of this method. So, Su Jingxing had reserved Ethereal Sword Immortal's next meeting appointment letter in advance. Whether it was Wei Jiejia or Su Jingxing who was selected, it was not a loss for Su Jingxing. Even if he really were to encounter the only error probability and loses his qualifications, there would always be a next time. If I fail this year, then I'll try again next year. If I fail next year, then I'll try again the following year. 3 times at most, between Su Jingxing and Wei Jiejia, one is sure to get selected. As for the Mayan flower, it was a type of heavenly treasure, an important ingredient for many pills. The reason why Wei Jiejia wanted it was because the sap of the Mayan flower would slow down the aging of the skin when applied to the face. The fresher the Mayan flower, the longer the duration of delay. The maximum duration was 30 years. In other words, if Wei Jiejia were to apply the sap of a fresh Mayan flower on her face right now, her appearance could be maintained until she is nearly 50 years old. At the age of 50, her skin would still be as fair and delicate as an 18-year-old. Her face would be full of collagen. Men didn't care about this effect, but women were crazy about it. As a result, the price of the Mayan flower rose all the way. From a few $100,000 for a stalk to several $1 million now. Most importantly, there were people willing to accept this price, but there was no product available for them. Su Jingxing agreed to this request because he had read a deleted post revealing where the Mayan flower grew while he was searching for traces on the internet. Green Cloud Mountain that was west of Qinghe City. Although Green Cloud Mountain was only a small mountain range, it was well known throughout Unation. It was tall and precipitous, and there were numerous peaks and ridges. Many rare precious herbs grew there. Mayan flower was just one of them. The location that was revealed online was concealed and very dangerous. Very few people knew about it. Out of curiosity, Su Jingxing had once evaluated this option and found that he was strong enough for this. Coincidentally, the number of corpses in the crematorium had decreased during this period of time. He would not make a big loss taking a trip out. Su Jingxing immediately took 2 days off. Together with a rest day, he had 3 days' time to enter the mountain to look for the Mayan flower. Of course, since he was already entering the mountain, he could also collect some precious herbs along the way. For this, Su Jingxing specially bought a big backpack and carried lots of things with him. These were all preparations for entering the mountain. Then, early in the morning the next day, he took a scheduled bus to the nearest forestry town at the foot of Green Cloud Mountain. With the Green Cloud Mountain range behind them, there were quite a number of forestry towns. Su Jingxing picked the nearest one. After arriving, he didn't stay in town for long and quickly entered the mountain. This was his first time entering a mountain on Earth Star. Su Jingxing had only circled around the foot of the mountain during the corpse puppet Mei Jinju incident. Unlike the forest in the forestry station, Green Cloud Mountain was more primitive and had almost zero development. Su Jingxing didn't care why it wasn't developed. It was either because there were too many beasts in the mountains or because of human intervention. After all, the worldly energy in Green Cloud Mountain was abundant. It was one of the best places for the 7th grade martial artists to break through to the 6th grade. If too much damage was done to it, the gains would not make up for the losses. They would even be suppressed by multiple parties. Because of all kinds of factors, Green Cloud Mountain was perfectly preserved until now. With a clear destination in mind, Su Jingxing headed straight for the location where Mayan flower grew after entering the mountain. Unexpectedly, after crossing 2 mountains, he encountered a group of people on a mountain slope. A group of young boys and girls. Su Jingxing asked around and found out their identity. Students of Xiantian University. Xiantian University was the top university in Unation. Previously, it was the Xiantian Academy, an ancient academy that had existed for thousands of years. It had survived through the various dynasties until today. The group of Xiantian University students that Su Jingxing met were from the regional branch campus in Qinghe City. Although it was just a branch campus, it was still one of the 2 best universities in Qinghe City. It offered humanities and martial arts subjects. The group of students had come to Green Cloud Mountain on a field trip to study the various types of rare herbs. That's right. These students were not martial arts students but humanities students, majors in botany at that. Their leader was a white-haired professor named Lin Xiuruan. He was just an ordinary person. They dared to enter the mountain because Xiantian University had its own guards. The leader of the guards team that came with them this time was a peak 8th grade martial artist with 5 9th grade martial artists under him. Apart from the 6 of them, they also hired a 6-man security team from a third party. The team leader there was a 7th grade martial artist. A 7th grade martial artist wasn't much. What was noteworthy was that this security team came from Glory Security. And Glory Security happened to be Wan Rong's faction. 1. A military strategy with the aim of removing the command and control of an opponent. Su Jingxing didn't expect to meet Wan Rong's subordinate in Green Cloud Mountain. He had specially investigated Glory Security. The original Su Jingxing did not know the relationship between Wan Rong and Glory Security. This security company founded by Wan Rong had quite a good reputation locally. However, before he broke through to the 6th grade, he only took on small jobs, mainly for ordinary people. Now that Wan Rong had advanced to the 6th grade, the business of Glory Security had expanded. Even Xiantian University was willing to hire them. In terms of strength, Xiantian University's Institute of Martial Arts ranked amongst the top 5 in Qinghe City. Putting aside the fact that its dean was a 4th-grade expert, all of their teachers were above the 7th grade. Together with the large number of guards, Xiantian University was extremely strong. It was only because many of the university's guards had been seconded recently that Glory Security had a chance to get the job. In order to show that their clients were important, the assistant manager of Glory Security personally took over the role of the team leader. This assistant manager called Fan Chungang was one of Wan Rong's trusted aides. Su Jingxing glanced at him from afar and suppressed the agitation in his heart. "Brother Yang, you're afraid of entering the mountain alone, aren't you scared that?" Swish! A strong gust of wind suddenly swept across the top of the girl's head and swept towards a tree not far behind her. With a dull thud, the tree swayed slightly. The sudden noise attracted the attention of others around them. Soon, everyone's gaze landed on a boy who was doing his business under the tree. The latter presently was rooted to the spot, his body trembling uncontrollably. This was because above his head, a slender black snake was twisting frantically, and the snake had been pinned to the trunk of the tree with a dagger through its head. "Wang Hanpeng. What are you waiting for? Get over here." D****, old Wang was almost bitten. "That fellow, we've told him way earlier not to run around, but he refused to listen. Great, he almost lost his life. Speaking of which, who threw that dagger? That was way too accurate. Team leader Su, was it your team?" After a brief moment of shock passed, the people who had regained their clarity shouted loudly. The boy named Wang Hanpeng was still trembling under the tree. He cried out, My legs are numb. I can't move." "Huh, no one told you to wander around. Are you afraid now?" 2 boys quickly dashed over while laughing and chiding him. "Gosh, you're spilling your piss all over your pants." "Shut up." The 2 teased as they helped Wang Hanpeng away from the tree. "Over here." Next to Su Jingxing, the girl who had spoken earlier had her mouth wide open. She stared at Su Jingxing in shock. "Be Brother Yang, you threw the dagger. That's called a throwing dagger." A muscular middle-aged man walked over quickly and thanked Su Jingxing. "Thank you for saving us, Brother Yang. Your throwing dagger skill is amazing." "You're welcome, team leader Su. I just happened to see it." Su Jingxing smiled. The middle-aged man was Su Nianxiang, the team leader of the guards. Su Jingxing was addressed as Brother Yang because he had disguised himself and was wearing a human skin mask. He had used a fake name when he introduced himself earlier. Yang, Jian 1. Even his appearance was the best version of Erlang, which was Uncle Jiao's face when he was young. At his peak, Uncle Jiao was extremely good-looking. This was also the reason why Su Jingxing was able to quickly strike up a conversation with the girls. People with good looks were popular everywhere. It's fortunate that you saw it. Otherwise, I'd be in trouble this time. Su Nianxiang smiled wryly at Su Jingxing's humility. That's right. If it wasn't for Brother Yang, I wouldn't be able to explain myself. The aged professor, Lin Xiaoruan, was holding a bundle of herbs in his hand. He walked over on big strides and thanked him excitedly. That's a poisonous snake. If bitten, little Wang would be dead in at most 2 minutes. I thank you on behalf of little Wang's parents and Xiantian University. Then, he bowed to Su Jingxing. Professor Lin, you don't have to do this. Since I saw it, I naturally won't let the tragedy happen. Su Jingxing quickly stepped forward and helped Lin Xiaoruan up. As a bottom feeder, Su Jingxing respected the true intellectuals. This had nothing to do with his current strength. No, I must thank you. It's necessary. Lin Xiaoruan insisted, can I trouble you to leave me your contact number? When we return to the city, I'll get little Wang's parents to thank you properly. That's right, Su Nianxiang added. Don't decline, Brother Yang. Little Wang's parents are not only rich, they're also from a martial arts family. You'll definitely have use for the contact. As soon as he said that, he waved at Wang Hanping and shouted, "Little Wang, come here quickly. Thank Brother Yang for saving you." Wang Hanping lowered his head and slowly walked over. He said softly, thank you. Kid, how can you speak like that? When Lin Xiaoruan saw this, he rebuked angrily, "Is this how perfunctory you treat your savior?" "Thank you, Brother Yang." Wang Hanping's face was flushed red, but his head remained lowered as he shouted. "I have extra pants. Go change into them. You're welcome here." "No, I have to thank you." This time, Wang Hanping was much more sincere. After expressing his gratitude, he ran away. The girls at the side covered their mouths and giggled. Half of Wang Hanping's pants were soaked with urine. Su Jingxing noticed his predicament and reminded him kindly. "Brother Yang, you're such a good person. It's just a little strange. I think I've seen the throwing dagger skill you used earlier somewhere." A low voice sounded. Fan Chungang led the security team toward Su Jing as he spoke slowly. "Is that so?" Hearing this, Su Jingxing turned to look at the fully armed Fan Chungang and said calmly, "What a coincidence. May I know where Manager Fan saw it?" "Team Leader Fan, what's so strange about that?" Su Nianxiang frowned in confusion. "Aren't all throwing dagger skills similar?" "Yeah, to put it simply, it's just dart throwing." A girl echoed. "To be honest, I can do it too, but my accuracy isn't as good as Brother Yang's." "Huh, I've played darts before too." Me too, me too." The girls chattered. "Hee, I'm not afraid to share. When I was young, I was number 1 in the school in darts." Lin Xiaoruan also chimed in. Fan Chuangong's expression changed slightly when he heard them, but he quickly recovered. "Is that so? It seems I was mistaken." Fan Chungang said with an insincere smile, "My apologies, Brother Yang." "What's there to apologize for?" Su Nianxiang spoke before Su Jingxing could. "Just like I said, throwing dagger skills are about the same. It's normal for you to be mistaken." "Indeed." Su Jingxing smiled. "There's nothing to argue about." "No. There's something wrong with this throwing dagger." A voice suddenly sounded. A boy with messy hair ran to the tree and stared at the iron throwing dagger that had nailed down the snake's head. He shouted in surprise, "Come over and take a look. The force behind this throwing dagger is very special. It's like a bullet hitting an object, the cracks are irregularly spread." "Enough." Su Nianxiang cut him off sternly in a low voice. "Student, it's dangerous there. Move away quickly." I'm fine." The boy waved his hand and shouted, "This venomous snake is already dead. What's important now is the throwing dagger. It." Hey, what are you doing? Don't pull me, let me go." The boy struggled but could not do anything to the 2 guards who dragged him away. "I'm sorry, please excuse him." On the other side, Lin Xiaoruan smiled awkwardly and said, "This child, he's become silly from studying." It's fine. Fan Chungang raised his hand and said understandingly, "Earnest people deserve respect. Don't you agree, Brother Yang?" He turned to look at Su Jingxing. Su Jingxing ignored him and bid farewell to Lin Xiaoruan and Su Nianxiang. "Professor Lin, Team Leader Su, I still have something on. I shall not intrude further." "Hey, wait up." Lin Xiaoruan stopped him and quickly said, "Brother Yang, you haven't left your contact details." "No need." Su Jingxing waved his hand and strode away. Saving Wang Hanping was a casual act, and he had never thought of repayment. He only used an ordinary throwing dagger. Su Jingxing did not expect that his casual move would attract Fan Chuangong's attention. It seems that this fellow has seen Chen Xiaodao use the colossal divine dagger before. He was sarcastic and found faults from the beginning. It was impossible for Su Jingxing not to think deeper into it. After all, Su Jingxing had never seen Fan Chungang before today. It was even more impossible for Fan Chungang to know Yang Jian. In the end, at their first meeting, Fan Chungang had revealed a provocative intent, clearly targeting him. This could only be directed at throwing daggers, nothing else. So, there is a high chance that Fan Chungang knows Chen Xiaodao. Su Jingxing pondered as he walked on the slope. After Su Jingxing left, Lin Xiuruan did not stay here any longer. He called for everyone to head to the next location. After Wang Hanpeng's accident, Sun Yanxiang became even more guarded. Lin Xiuruan also reminded everyone to pay attention to their surroundings. The guards patrolled back and forth amongst the crowd. Fan Chuangang's security team was in charge of movements at the front, back and periphery, just in case. The team of more than 30 people formed a long line on the mountain path. Sun Yanxiang was at the very front, in charge of leading the way, occasionally peering through binoculars. All of a sudden, a guard walked up to Sun Yanxiang and whispered, "Team leader, Fan Chungang is missing." Sun Yanxiang raised an eyebrow. How so? Six saw him leave the group and enter the forest. He disappeared in the direction that Brother Yang left in, the guard replied softly. Ha! Sun Yanxiang scoffed. I knew he wouldn't be able to hold back. Team leader, we. Ignore him, Sun Yanxiang said coolly. What Fan Chungang wants has nothing to do with us. But Brother Yang won't be killed so easily. Sun Yanxiang smiled. Think about it. If he didn't have the capabilities, would he have dared to enter Green Cloud Mountain alone? That's right. The guard was first enlightened, but a thought quickly struck him and he said in a low voice, the problem is Fan Chungang. He's a 7th grade martial artist. Can Brother Yang handle him? I don't know. Sun Yanxiang wore a calm expression. Huh? The guard was dumbfounded. I really don't know. Sun Yanxiang raised an eyebrow. I've never seen Brother Yang in action before. I don't know what realm he's in, but his throwing dagger skill is enough for him to retreat easily even if he's no match for a 7th-rank martial artist. Fan Chungang could tell that Su Jingxing's throwing dagger was extraordinary, so how could Sun Yanxiang not? Even though he did not know that it was the colossal divine dagger. He only managed to catch the last step of the entire process from the moment Su Jingxing acted to when he hit his target, yet he could tell that Su Jingxing's skill in throwing daggers was extremely profound. This sort of throwing dagger skill, even the most ordinary dart throwing technique, was enough to threaten a 7th-grade martial artist. Su Jingxing was so young, yet he already had such attainments in hidden weapons. How could he be as simple as he appeared on the surface? If Fan Chungang wanted to take advantage of the situation, he would probably suffer. The forest was dense and the mountain path was steep. The man-made mountain path was barely visible against the weeds and shrubs that grew day and night. The danger lurking beneath the bushes and weeds hovered day and night. But they didn't affect Su Jingxing much. With advanced hearing in use, Su Jingxing could hear all sounds within 100 meters. Even if an ant was crawling on the ground, Su Jingxing would know where it was. He moved, scaring away all sorts of dangers in advance. It was as if he was on a vacation. Until he heard a familiar heartbeat behind him. He really followed me here. Su Jingxing grinned and stopped in his tracks. He turned around and said calmly, "Since you're here, come out. Hiding doesn't seem like the style of a manager." Ha! Fan Chungang stepped out from behind a tree and looked at Su Jingxing. He smiled and said, "Brother Yang, what sharp intuition. You discovered me so quickly. May I know why Manager Fan is looking for me?" Su Jingxing was too lazy to argue with him and went straight to the point. "Can't I look for you for a chat for no reason?" Fan Chungang grinned. "After all, you saved a student previously, which was considered to have helped me out. I chased after you to thank you. Of course you can. Su Jingxing smiled. As for your gratitude, I've accepted it. I'll walk the rest of the way myself. Manager Fan, you can go back now. That won't do. Fan Chungang shook his head. Brother Yang, you are our savior. It is my duty to help you. By the way, I still do not know why Brother Yang is in the mountains. Do tell me. With me, we should be able to complete it faster. Thank you for your kindness, Manager Fan, but there's no need. Su Jingxing said calmly, I take care of my own matters. On the other hand, Manager Fan, you're here for a task. You'd better go back and escort Professor Lin and the rest. With that, he turned around and left quickly. Wait. Fan Chungang continued to chase after him. My colleagues are doing that. As for me, it won't be too late to return after I send you to your destination. As he spoke, he increased his speed. Su Jingxing ignored him and sped up while remaining vigilant. Fan Chungang sped up as well. Su Jingxing turned the corner, and Fan Chungang followed. Su Jingxing went down the mountain, and Fan Chungang followed. In short, no matter where Su Jingxing went, Fan Chungang was determined to follow him. At first, Su Jingxing was annoyed, but soon, Fan Chungang became the one who was annoyed. He realized that he could not catch up. This made Fan Chungang extremely angry. He finally shed all pretense and attacked. Swoosh! A diamond-shaped dart flew out from Fan Chunfeng's palm and headed straight for Su Jingxing. Swish! The sound of rapid wind, accompanied by icy killing intent, enveloped Su Jingxing's back. Su Jingxing, who was running, sensed it immediately and dodged the sneak attack. Then, he stopped and turned to look at Fan Chungang. You want to kill me? Su Jingxing remained calm and said coldly, You will kill me just because I refused your help. Alright, cut the pretense. Fan Chunggang's face darkened, his eyes spitting fire. Since we've already fallen out, I don't want to waste any more words. Let me ask you something. Did you take Qin Xiaodao's colossal divine dagger? You have guessed correctly. Su Jingxing thought inwardly but remained collected on the surface. What colossal divine dagger? Heh, still putting on an act. Fan Chungang sneered. Do you think I wouldn't know if you refused to admit it? Others might not know the method of exerting force, the angle of striking, and the diffusion of force of the colossal divine dagger, but I know it very well. Because Qin Xiaodao stole the colossal divine dagger from me. Before he practiced throwing daggers, I was already extremely familiar with this hidden weapon. So. Su Jingxing was calm. So, this hidden weapon should be returned to its original owner now. Fan Chungang shouted as he threw another diamond-shaped dart. Swish! 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 This time, there were as many as 3 diamond-shaped darts. Each one was aimed at Su Jingxing's vital parts at an extremely tricky angle. Swoosh! Swoosh swoosh! Su Jingxing's body swayed as he used the 8-step rising dragon beneath his feet. In a few flashes, he easily dodged. After regaining his balance, he looked at Fan Chungang, who had an ugly expression on his face, and said with a chuckle, This is also the colossal divine dagger, right? Oh, no, this should be called light body dart. That's right. Fan Chunggang's darts had the exact same method of force exertion and change in trajectories as the colossal divine dagger. However, the might was much weaker. Su Jingxing was starting to believe Fan Chunggang's account. The colossal divine dagger could really have been snatched by Qin Xiaodao. Fan Chungang had practiced this hidden weapon before, but because he did not have unusual strength, he could not master it successfully. Therefore, he switched to darts and only retained the method of exerting force from the colossal divine dagger. There were many similar situations. For example, applying sword techniques to sabers. If one were to cultivate a sword technique as a saber art, it wouldn't be weak either. It may seem perfect, but in reality, such martial arts have already changed. They have become neither fish nor fowl. Unless it was a talented and knowledgeable genius who could strip away the old and create his own martial arts. Only by comprehending saber techniques from sword techniques would the martial arts attained have made further progress. Was Fan Chungang such a person? Obviously not. Therefore, his dart skill was very awkward in Su Jingxing's eyes. As for Fan Chunfeng, he thought that he had concealed himself well and that no one would be able to tell. Even Wan Rong, whom he served, never knew. At this moment, Su Jingxing had laid it bare in front of him. The shame and anger in his heart erupted. "You're not willing to hand it over, are you? Then I'll take it myself." Swish. 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 Fan Chungang roared and waved his hands, releasing more than 10 diamond-shaped darts in an attempt to drown Su Jingxing with the numbers. At the same time, he stomped on the ground. Moving like lightning, he charged at Su Jingxing with 2 curved blades in his hands. Swoosh! 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 Su Jingxing's figure flashed repeatedly as he moved to the right, avoiding the diamond-shaped darts. He no longer held back against Fan Chungang, who was pouncing over. Whiz! 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 Throwing daggers, 3 throwing daggers flew out in succession to meet Fan Chungang. In an instant, the sound of rushing wind suddenly intensified. They tore through the air like cannonballs leaving their shells. The strange flying angle seemed straight, but was ever changing. 1 second it was on the left, the next it was on the right. However, the trajectory in his vision never changed. It was seemingly false and real at the same time. Fan Chungang felt dizzy at once. His heart raced. Danger! The alarm bells in Fan Chunggang's head rang. There was no time to dodge, so he instinctively brandished his dual sabers to block in front of him. Thud! A muffled sound. Pooh! Fan Chungang spat out a mouthful of blood as his arms turned numb. He could not stop himself from stepping backwards. The 2 curved blades in his hands, however, had already turned into a pile of fragments with a loud bang, scattering in the air. Under the sunlight, the blade fragments were bright and dazzling. As Fan Chungang retreated, a throwing dagger appeared in his vision. The second throwing dagger. The first of the throwing daggers that were imbued with immense power had crushed the curved blades, and the residual force pushed Fan Chungang back. The second throwing dagger, which was following closely behind, came straight at Fan Chunggang's chest, hitting him hard. Thud! Bang! Crack! Ah! Fresh blood spurted out from Fan Chunggang's mouth, splattering everywhere. Most of the bones in his chest were broken, and the clothes on his body turned into countless pieces along with a thin inner armor. In midair. Boom! The third throwing daggers pierced through his chest, leaving behind a gaping hole. It pierced through Fan Chungang and headed straight for the towering trees behind him. Bang! 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 Muffled sounds were heard continuously. Under the aggression from the residual force of the third throwing dagger, the ancient trees exploded, broke, and collapsed one after another. The 100-meter-tall humongous trunks toppled over in every possible direction and crashed onto the nearby trees, letting out a series of rumbles. Countless birds were roused. They flew out of the forest and fled in all directions. The quiet mountain peak became extremely lively. There were birds in the sky, flying all over the place. There were beasts running everywhere. Of course, all of this was getting further and further away from Fan Chunfeng. He was lying on the ground, a huge hole in his chest. Facing the sky, fresh blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth without end. His trembling body quickly lost its vitality. The final life in his widened eyes shone as he stared fixedly at Su Jingxing, who was approaching. You. You didn't see wrongly. This is the real colossal divine dagger. Su Jingxing began calmly. Didn't you want it to return to its original owner? I thought about it and felt that you were right. Hey, don't die so quickly. Su Jingxing sneered and shook his head as he looked at Fan Chungang, who had died with a grievance. He followed him all the way and forced him to attack. Great, there's no need for you to run around anymore. Su Jingxing's arms now had 8,000 caddies of strength. Coupled with the colossal divine dagger, the might released was no different from a cannonball. Although Fan Chungang was prepared, dual blades, inner armor and all, he was still pierced through the chest and back by the third dagger. Deader than dead. A 7th-grade martial artist doesn't not seem like much. Su Jingxing criticized in his heart. He opened his backpack and took out the corpse-dissolving liquid, preparing to destroy all traces to prevent attracting the corpse-raising devil insect egg. Corpse discovered. Would you like to extract it? A notification flashed across his mind. Su Jingxing smiled and replied inwardly, yes. The next moment, a card appeared in his pocket. Su Jingxing took it out and read the information. He realized that it was actually a memory card. Another new card. As the name suggested, the memory card contains the memories of the deceased. As for the duration, it was random. Some may be years, some may only be months, while some may even be a lifetime. The experiences of the deceased's lifetime were recorded in the memory card. The memory card Su Jingxing picked up contained 10 years of Fan Chuangang's memories. The moment Su Jingxing unlocked the card, the images of Fan Chuangang's 10 years of life played in his mind like a movie. Su Jingxing clearly saw everything that Fan Chungang had done in the past 10 years. It included the parts of Chen Xiaodao and the colossal divine dagger. The memory showed that the colossal divine dagger was not snatched by Chen Xiaodao from Fan Chungang, but was an exchange between the two of them. Chen Xiaodao had a martial art, the Three Origins saber art. He gave this saber art in exchange for Fan Chuangang's colossal divine dagger. And both the colossal divine dagger and Three Origins saber art were items that Chen Xiaodao and Fan Chungang had seized from another person. It was a dark memory. Fan Chungang, Chen Xiaodao, as well as their buddy, accidentally learned from a group of grave robbers that there was a martial arts expert's tomb at a certain place. Such a tomb that was passed down from ancient times had an 80% chance of containing good items as burial items. After all, it had only been 80 years since the extraterrestrial devil insect had descended on Earth's star. The tomb from 100 years ago was not dug up by anyone. That was because corpses that were over 100 years old had all rotted to the point where all that was left were bone dregs. The corpse-raising devil insect egg wouldn't visit at all. Therefore, tombs that were more than 100 years old were still buried under the ground. Before anyone discovered them, no one knew what was inside. When Chen Xiaodao, Fan Chungang, and their friend learned of this news, they killed the group of grave robbers and went to the tomb themselves to search for burial items. In the end, they weren't disappointed. They really found quite a few good items. The most precious were the colossal divine dagger and the Three Origins saber art. It was also because of these two martial arts that Chen Xiaodao and Fan Chungang sneaked an attack on their buddy from behind. After that, they split the burial items. 2 martial arts techniques, one for each of them. However, after obtaining the martial arts, the two of them realized that both the colossal divine dagger and the Three Origins saber art had preconditions for a successful cultivation. Needless to say, the colossal divine dagger required a martial artist to have great strength. The Three Origins saber art was even more bizarre. One had to wield 3 sabers during the cultivation. It was not 2 sabers in one hand, but 1 in each. In other words, one had to have 3 hands to cultivate this saber art. Wasn't this a scam? There were indeed people with 3 hands, but they were deformed and not normal people. Such people were considered inauspicious in ancient times and would be drowned once they were born. Modern people were not afraid, surgery would take care of the defects. So, there was no one who reached adulthood with 3 hands. Therefore, Fan Chungang, who was initially given the colossal divine dagger, had a big fight with Chen Xiaodao after he swindled Chen Xiaodao into giving him the 3 origins saber art in exchange. The two of them then severed ties. Although the colossal divine dagger was difficult to master and there was only the first volume available, its method of exerting force can be applied on darts. The 3 origins saber art was completely a decoration, only to be admired and not to be consumed. It would be strange if Fan Chungang could accept it. He wanted to find an opportunity to kill Chen Xiaodao, but Chen Xiaodao was not any weaker than him. Furthermore, Chen Xiaodao quickly pulled the Black Tiger Gang as his backing. As such, Fan Chungang could only hold it in until the news of Chen Xiaodao's death came. Only then did he laugh heartily. Afterwards, Fan Chungang specially went to Chen Xiaodao's house to search for the colossal divine dagger, but found nothing. Unexpectedly, on a trip into the mountain, he saw that Su Jingxing's throwing daggers had traces of the colossal divine dagger. He gave chase and interrogated him. This experience was the most unique in the 10 years of memory. For Fan Chungang, murder and arson, sleeping with women, robbing, and plotting to kill people were normal business. Correspondingly, as Wan Rong's trusted aide, Fan Chungang knew most of Wan Rong's secrets. Su Jingxing gained the most from these secrets. Apart from that, Fan Chungang had a sum of dirty money, about 3 million Great Yu dollars, which he had secretly stashed away. No one knew about this money, and now it was Su Jingxing's. It happened that Su Jingxing had used up the 3 custom-made throwing daggers that he used to kill Fan Chunfeng. He was planning to buy a few more. Altogether, the effects of the memory card were not inferior to that of other cards. The only bad thing about this 10-year memory was that it only recorded a small portion of Fan Chunggang's memory of the 3 origins saber art. Or rather, Fan Chungang only read the beginning's contents of the saber art before throwing it into the safe. He did not flip through it again. After that. Wait. Suddenly, Su Jingxing was shocked. A thought struck him and his eyes lit up. That's right. Fan Chungang tossed the 3 origins saber art into the safe and stopped caring about it. Doesn't that mean that as long as I go to his house, take away the safe, or open it, I can get the 3 origins saber art? Su Jingxing, who finally realized this as an afterthought, was overjoyed. Unlike Chen Xiaodao, whose belongings have long been taken away. So far, no one knows that Fan Chungang has died in my hands. As long as I return earlier, I could go to Fan Chunggang's residence and open the safe without anyone knowing. Then, I can easily obtain the 3 origins saber art. Since it could be placed alongside the colossal divine dagger as a burial item, the 3 origins saber art certainly won't be inferior. Fan Chungang and Chen Xiaodao could not cultivate this saber art, but it does not mean that I, Su Jingxing, cannot. With this in mind, Su Jingxing collected his thoughts and opened the bottle of corpse dissolving liquid, turning Fan Chunggang's corpse into a pool of liquid. Then, he rushed to the location where the Mayan flower grew. In a hidden valley. The entrance was a cliff. One could only reach the valley by passing through a river below the cliff, and entering a subterranean river. The reason why the person who leaked the information knew this so well was because he was knocked off the cliff by someone and survived by a stroke of luck. He followed the river, passed through the valley, and came out from another subterranean river. That was how he escaped death. While moving, he spotted some of the things growing in the valley, which included the Mayan flower. As for why he posted this experience online, Su Jingxing wasn't clear. Perhaps he was showing off, perhaps he was deliberately luring people there, or perhaps he was doing it for revenge. In short, that had helped Su Jingxing. Rushing at top speed, Su Jingxing managed to reach the peak where the cliff was before nightfall. It was inconvenient to move at night. Hence, Su Jingxing spent the night on the mountain and waited by the cliff. He found a large tree as a temporary lodging and sat himself on a thick branch. He casually took out an essence energy pill and ate it to recover his stamina and keep his mind clear. Then he ate some food to fill his stomach. It was about time. He activated his internal force to stimulate his eyes and started developing his night vision ability. As he worked, a feeling suddenly hit Su Jingxing and he stopped using the secret ability. Someone was peeking at him.